Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be yet another Mandela Effect video for you guys. Y'all already know, I like talking about the Mandela Effect. I love that it's still relevant, especially on TikTok. I honestly just love it. Like, I just think it's fun, and sometimes people get so angry with me if I, like, remember something different than you. And I promise it's fine, and I promise I'm probably just stupid. I'm just kidding. Well, for a lot of them, sometimes I do just literally remember things incorrectly, but these are ones that multiple people talk about, so it's not just me, alright? But anyway, let's get into it because these are some Mandela effects that will make you question your reality. Okay, the first Mandela effect I want to talk about has to do with the Mandela effect itself. So, I have been making these videos for 8 years, which is a very long time. I vividly remember when I first found out about the Mandela effect and when it was first introduced through the Berenstain Bears, and it was like not a thing that people ever talked about. I swear it. I was a senior in high school, so it was 2015, 2016. 100,000%. I remember where I was when I remember telling people in specific classes about the Mandela effect, and it was a new phenomenon. Tell me why the Mandela Effect actually came out and was coined as the Mandela Effect in 2009. Absolutely not. Abso-fucking-lutely not. I had never... No, actually, that's insane. It's specifically insane to me because I felt like I remember it being called, like, the naming of it being called a Mandela Effect. Like, I thought that Shane Dawson came up with the name. Honestly, I might be off on that. But I really did think that it was kind of coined on YouTube. 100,000%. The fact that I don't know the origin of, like, my own viral videos is insane. Like, that's actually crazy. I do not... There is no way that happened in 2009. Especially considering Nelson Mandela died in 2013, okay? And the whole Mandela effect is people remember him dying in prison. But he actually died in 2013. And I remember that being like a big part of why we call it the Mandela effect is because people remember him dying in prison, but he didn't. He died later in 2013. I actually don't understand what you mean by 2009. No! Like, I don't know if this will be as weird for everyone else as it is for me, because obviously I've been researching this topic for quite some fucking time. Yet the fact that I didn't have any idea that this thing was around since 2009 is pretty insane. Because I thought it started with the Berenstain Bears, and then it, like I thought that the phenomenon existed itself. But I swear that the term Mandela effect came with YouTube. Like, I'm actually freaked out by that. And please let me know if someone else remembers this, because that just kind of drove me insane. I don't like it. I really don't. Alright, the next Mandela effect is about a little toy that existed. This Mandela effect has kind of a lot of proof, so it's a little bit for my older audience. But there is like this toy where you kind of spin a wheel and then it's like different animals and tells you what sounds they make. I always remember it being like the cow goes moo, the sheep goes ba, like the dog goes woof. That whole thing. 100,000%. Why has it always been the cow says moo?
The dog says...
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't say moo. He goes moo. Absolutely not. And this was proven Mandela effect on Family Guy.
The cow goes... Shazoo!
It most certainly does not.
That's not how it's been. It's always been the cow says moo. And honestly, I just like feel like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? The cow doesn't say moo, it goes moo, you know? Alright, and the next Mandela effect I want to talk about is something that really fucking upsets me, because the fact that I vividly remember this being a thing, and it's just not. My whole life is a lie, to be honest. I love Diet Coke and Coke Zero. I'm definitely a diet soda girly. I eat on a calorie deficit, so like, it's imperative for me to like not drink my calories, so I'm very aware of diet soda. I always have been, because I was like put on Weight Watchers as a kid because the Wii Fit called me obese. What are you gonna do? I always remember Coke Zero being made because it didn't have aspartame in it like Diet Coke. Like that was the difference between Coke Zero and Diet Coke, is that Coke Zero was made with like a more natural sweetener instead of the aspartame that's in Diet Coke, especially because in the early 2000s there was kind of like a whole thing about how aspartame causes cancer, even though it's not necessarily true. And it was just a whole bunch of shit about people being mad about aspartame in general. So they made Coke Zero in response. Coke Zero has always had aspartame in it. What do you mean? I thought it was sweetened with something else that was more natural to like shut the non-GMO bitches up. What was the point of making it then? And why does it taste so fucking different from Diet Coke? Like, everyone knows Coke Zero is superior to Diet Coke. I know that Coke Zero had no aspartame in it because that was its whole purpose. That was its whole purpose. What do you mean? I'm stressed. I'm stressed by this, honestly. I'm very stressed out. Not because I didn't think I was drinking aspartame, because I don't really care. I'll drink Diet Coke, I'll drink whatever. But I know that Coke Zero was made with no aspartame. That was the whole thing of it. What the fuck? The next Mandela Effect is actually hilarious. It comes from Superbad. I was watching this movie and I realized that there was something that changed completely for me. And it's the scene, hilarious fucking scene. Honestly, Michael Cera, kind of underrated. Like, he's really funny. But I remember the scene where him and Becca are like making out on the bed and she throws up on him. I always thought that that was the case. She threw up on him. In fact, I thought it was a fucking nod to the scene in Booksmart to have Amy throw up on Hope, because it's like a joke, because obviously Beanie Feldstein, who plays Molly, is in that movie and she is Jonah Hill's sister, so it was kind of like a nod to that. She never throws up on him, she throws up on the bed. No. But like, that's still gross, don't get me wrong, but that's not even as embarrassing as if she threw up literally on him. I remember so vividly she threw up on him, but no, she's always just thrown up next to him, and I'm like, what? That's not even as funny. Like, I just feel like you have that scene set up, why would you not go with the gag, you know what I mean? I can't. That actually drove me insane a little bit. But let me know what you remember. The next Mandela Effect kind of drives me nuts as well. I loved TV as a kid. I mean, I think everyone did. But I feel like I remember really paying attention during commercials because they would annoy the shit out of me. And there was always rerunning commercials that were always on various channels. And I remember the Acuvue contact commercial very vividly with two twins. These two twins, one would have astigmatism and the other one didn't. I remember the twins being like, I have astigmatism and I don't. That's not said.
We're twins. She has astigmatism. When you walked up to me, I was so freaked out.
That's actually just not said. She just says, I have astigmatism, and the other twin's just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? She always said, I don't. I know this for a fucking fact. I feel like people used to quote this at school. Like, what do you mean by that? Absolutely not. No. If you don't remember it this way, honestly, I'm scared of you. Sorry. Alright, the next Mandela Effect I had to set the scene for, okay? I was a huge Bindi the Jungle Girl stan. I loved that show. I loved anything to do with Australia because I was obsessed with H2O because I wanted to be a fucking mermaid. Obviously. Sometimes I think about how I casted spells to be a mermaid when I was like in high school. Like, that's abnormal. It was one thing when I was doing it in 5th grade, but to carry it on that long is kind of crazy. I loved Bindi the Jungle Girl. I love animals. I love Australia. She was dope. I wanted to be her friend. I wanted to actually be her, but you know, that was impossible. Steve Irwin. Everyone remembers Steve Irwin dying. He was stung by a stingray. It was a very famous, horrible death. I remember there being footage of his death because I remember avoiding the footage. Like, I knew for a fact that there was a video of Steve Irwin's death that was publicly available at some point, but that has never happened. Apparently, they instantly destroyed the footage and it was never seen by anyone. Wrong. Like, I just think that's, there's no way that that was a thing. Because I so vividly remember people talking about his death video, and I remember seeing like thumbnails for it on YouTube. I swear. It was driving me insane that that's not a thing. But Steve Irwin's death was never publicly available on video. Obviously, they were filming for his TV show, but ultimately the footage was destroyed, which is honestly pretty shocking to me that that footage was destroyed, just because you have so many people working on a set. Usually there is going to be someone who's a scumbag and sell the footage for millions of dollars. But the fact that that wasn't done is pretty nuts. And I feel like not only is it just nuts statistically, because obviously, again, people suck and will sell anything for a lot of money, I just remember it being available. I need to know what you guys remember, especially if you were older during that time, because I was kind of young when Steve Irwin died, but I do definitely remember the video footage. But I don't remember watching it. I actually remember specifically not watching it, so that's what's weird to me, is like, I mean, you can imagine what the footage would be like, but I remember being like, no, I can't, like, I don't want to see that. Never existed. So let me know your thoughts. All right, the next Mandela effect is one that literally drives me crazy, because my aunt is obsessed with I Love Lucy, like, to a fucking degree that is abnormal. Like, she has an entire room dedicated to what I thought was Lucille O'Ball. I've always said Lucille O'Ball, but it's just always been Lucille Ball. No, it hasn't. Lucille O'Ball, please. I need someone who remembers this, because my aunt is like, girl, no, it's always been Lucille Ball. Obviously, she's a huge fan. It would be like if Ariana Grande was suddenly Ariana Grande and people were saying that, like, I would be like, no, it was always Grande. But I do feel like there are other people who remember it being Lucille O'Ball, but I need to hear what you remember. I don't know why I Love Lucy is something that has so many Mandela effects, because also Lucy, you have some splaining to do, was never said on I Love Lucy. Ever. So I don't know where the hell that came from, because I'm pretty sure my aunt has like 10 fucking plates that say that. What do you mean? No. Alright, the next two Mandela effects come from The Parent Trap. I only agree with one of them. Parent Trap was also one of my favorite movies as a kid, because I love Lindsay Lohan and I really loved her a lot as a child. And I wanted to be Hallie from The Parent Trap really bad. Like, I cut bangs, I like did my nails like her. I loved that bitch. But anyway, I guess there are a lot of people, and I see this in the actual scene on YouTube, like, people in the comments are like, wait, I remember it this way. Like, no, you're wrong, but we'll still talk about it. But I guess a lot of people remember the scene where Hallie is piercing Annie's ears. They remember her using a lemon underneath her ear instead of what it is now, which is an apple. I always remember the apple, but apparently a lot of people remember the lemon. I want to hear your thoughts on this, but I remember the apple very well, because I always wanted to pierce someone's ears with a little cube of apple. And also, wouldn't a lemon like kind of sting? I don't know. I'm not a piercer. I have never done my own piercings before, but if I did, I would use an apple. Lemon? That sounds crazy to me. I don't know. But like, this has gotten to the point where, again, all of the comments on YouTube are that. The next Parent Trap Mandela effect is one I'll give ya, because I remember learning this and I was like, what the fuck? Jessie from The Parent Trap, her name has always actually just been Chessy. Chessy. My question is not really so much, is this a Mandela effect, but more like, are the people who wrote The Parent Trap okay? Because why the fuck would you name her Chessy? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? No. It was Jessie. I remember finding this out and being very upset by it, so let me know what you remember, but if you remember Chessy, you're probably just insane. Alright, the next Mandela effect always comes up around this time of year, because I think a lot of people are rewatching their favorite Christmas movies, which, by the way, I think if your favorite Christmas movie is Elf, you should be locked up. The world would be a better place without you. I'm so sorry. I don't even hate the movie Elf. It's just like, if you're the type of person that's like, that's my favorite Christmas movie, I don't really want to know you. Especially over the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch. Get a grip. That deserved an Oscar. Elf, like, get Will Ferrell away from me, alright? Anyway, this Mandela effect is from the movie Home Alone, and we've talked about it before, but again, it keeps coming up because people are rewatching it and being like, wait, what the fuck? But a lot of people remember this specific scene in Home Alone where they're following Kevin, and Kevin runs into the church, and Harry and Marv are following behind him, and Marv is like, oh, he went into the church, and Harry goes, I'm not going in there, that place gives me the creeps. He never said that.
Maybe we're in the church.
I'm not going in there.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
He never said that place gives me the creeps, and just listen to it without it. It sounds so wrong and like something is missing, but that has never been a part of the movie, and I'm disturbed by that. I can so hear it in Joe Pesci's voice. That place gives me the creeps. 100% not there. What do you remember? Especially if you're older, I would like to hear, because obviously you've probably been watching Home Alone for longer than I have, and I want to hear your thoughts. The next Mandela effect is kind of crazy to me because it just could be me being stupid, but I think a lot of people actually agree with me on this. If you had to guess when Picasso died, what would you say? Because I would say he's definitely not alive during the time, like, since my parents have been born. Like, there's no way. He died in 1973. No. Absolutely fucking not. What? I thought he was, like, in the 30s. 40s, maybe. I don't know. 70s is kind of insane to me. Like, actually insane. I thought it was like the same vibe as like Claude Monet and those era of people. Although, how the fuck old is Claude Monet? Or even Van Gogh. Yeah, 1890. See, I thought that they were all kind of doing the same thing at the same time. Like, I mean, Picasso's stuff is very different, but I just feel like a 73? Like, no. Actually, no. Let me know what you remember, though, because that one kind of makes me feel a little crazy. All right, the next Mandela effect is another Christmas one, and it is from the song Up on the Housetop. So, I'm sure you've heard the song Up on the Housetop. Click, click, click. Down through the chimney with blank Saint Nick. What would you say it is? I would say it's down through the chimney with old Saint Nick. Why has it always been down through the chimney with good Saint Nick? Good? Like, okay? We don't need to know that. There's just no way in hell that's a thing, in my opinion. No. Not only that, but I kind of remember there being versions of the song where it was up on the rooftop, click, click, click. Not a thing either. It's always been up on the housetop. I don't know about that one, let me know. But for sure, it's always been old Saint Nick, and apparently not. It's good Saint Nick in most of the versions of it, so that's insane. All right, this next Mandela effect I've been seeing swirling around TikTok a lot lately. I don't agree with it because I loved this man as a child for some reason. I don't. He was one of my hyperfixations, okay? It was because of American Idol. I loved Ruben Studdard a lot. A lot of people seem to remember him dying for some reason, but he is, and I'm happy to announce, still alive and well. And I'm very happy that he's alive and well, but I guess a lot of people do remember him dying. I don't know. Let me know what you remember, but as an American Idol stan, I definitely knew he was still alive. But let us know your thoughts. Next Mandela effect is one I actually feel like has to be real. It's Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy music video, because I remember, and everyone else remembers, everyone that I've ever spoken to remembers there being a cut to the scene, like feeding the baby. She's all alone, of like a girl, pink spaghetti strap top, holding a baby, feeding it with a bottle, watching Skater Boy on TV. The fact that that's not a part of the music video is actually fucking insane. But anyway, I digress. The last Mandela effect before we get into the emojis that I want to talk about is one that's trending on TikTok. I'm kind of confused by this one, and I also hated Snow White as a child. She just annoyed the shit out of me. I don't know. But this girl pointed out on TikTok that she remembers when Snow White takes a bite of her apple that it was a perfect circle, but if you look at it now, it just is a normal bite of an apple. I don't know, but she talks about how it's like a whole thing in her childhood to like perfectly, like to try to get a perfect circle whenever she bit into an apple, and she would always think about this. So I can only imagine how insane that would feel. But let me know what you remember. If you're a Snow White girly, it seems like a lot of people in her comments also remember there being a perfect circle bite, but let us know. All right, let's get into the Emoji Mandela effects. Again, these are some of the ones that freak me out the most because it's weird to me that we all remember something that's just gone. Like, that's kind of insane. All right, the first one is the the campfire emoji. What do you mean that this is not a thing? I don't even know what to say. That's disturbing. There was absolutely a campfire emoji. I am positive about it. But no campfire emoji. Sorry. The next one, I remember there being a raspberry emoji. I was shocked when I found out this was not a thing because I was just like, why wouldn't they have a raspberry? Like, calm down. What's wrong with raspberries? What do you have against raspberries, Apple? Let us know. Speaking of fruit, I also remember there being a pomegranate emoji, and this just doesn't exist. The next emoji one, I know that this exists. The fact that it doesn't is actually insane. Is a freaking watering can emoji. How does this not exist? What do you mean by that doesn't exist? No. A watering can? There was absolutely a little gray / silver watering can emoji 100,000%. I am positive. not a thing. The next emoji Mandela effect that a lot of people seem to remember, I'm not so sure about this one, is a cornucopia emoji. I don't know. I feel like I don't remember seeing this, like, but at the same time, I guess I could see that being a thing, but it's never been. So let us know if you remember one, because I kind of don't remember it that well, but I would like to hear your thoughts on it. And I just think it's funny how cornucopias are always disappearing. Like the Fruit of the Loom logo. Where's the cornucopia? All right, the next emoji I really remember there being, speaking of the holiday season, we've got two. Gingerbread man. Why is there no gingerbread man emoji? This is more just a call to Apple. Make one. Like, grow up. Why would you not have a gingerbread man? Also, a candy cane. I actually had to, like, well, all of these I kind of did this, but this one I, in shock, had to look this up myself to make sure it didn't exist, because I was like, there's no way I've used that before. No candy cane emoji. All right, the last Mandela effect is a ketchup bottle emoji. I also very vividly remember this, and it's just absolutely not a thing. Let us know what you remember, though, because that one just really bothered me. But anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of all of these different Mandela effects. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.